So, the spoilers are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 392, and let's just say that the final battle between Toga and Uraraka begins, and we get a lot of good stuff in this chapter, and we will be getting to that soon, but first, right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to do and cover the spoilers for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 392. And let's just say that we are going to be heavily focusing on the battle between Uraraka and Toga, as we're going to be getting development from a lot of characters in this chapter from what we see with the spoilers, and it's not just going to be Uraraka as well as Toga. So that's going to be something that I really want to dive into more in the review proper, but this is just me covering the spoilers, so let's dive right into it and talk about what this chapter has in store for us. And to start off, the title of this chapter for 392 is going to be Villain Name, and this is not going to be a big focus necessarily in this chapter, but most likely for the chapter to come. And the chapter begins with Tsuyu tied up by Twices, saying she couldn't dodge the clone's attack due to the injury she took at Okuto Island. Uraraka shouts her name and Toga starts yelling at her, saying that she acts like that because she was born with an easy life. A flashback begins with Toga's parents accusing her of killing the bird to drink its blood. Toga denies it while crying, saying that it was already dead in the backyard. We then see her being taken to the court counseling, the lady saying that they'll make her, quote, normal. We then see Toga walking in a park while seeing different forms of love, like a couple holding hands and a man playing with his dog. She remembers all the times she was told to act normal as she watches everyone biting her own finger hard enough to the point of bleeding. Then we see her parents asking if she sucked the blood of a friend from school, and Toga says that she didn't. She just gave his bruise a little kiss. Her parents say that this isn't normal, and Toga replies that she didn't understand and what this means. Toga is crying desperately, asking her parents why she has to repress her love, why she can't turn into other people. Why didn't anyone else feel the urge to drink blood like she does? The parents are screaming, saying that they have given birth to something that is not human. So, let's just go over this part of the text spoilers, because for what we see, the first half of this chapter is going to be focusing more on Toga and her character and giving a little bit more context and retrospective and really a new look at her flashback and her backstory that we kind of knew prior, but just clarifying a few points that we just didn't know. For instance, when it came to the bird and the boy, we get a little bit more context that actually throws into pretty much contention what we got initially and whether or not that was actually accurate or just an over-exaggeration done by Curious. But overall, what we're getting is a lot more development of Toga and how she came to the point of being the person that she is, and how this is going to be relating to her in the future, as well as its connection to potentially the quirks and how they may affect the individuals at large. And I'm glad that this is something that is going to be done through Toga, due to the fact that among everyone in the villain cast, she is the one that is most associated with her quirk and vice versa. But getting into the next part of the text spoilers, we actually cut back to the present where we see that a, quote, vestige of Curious is talking to Toga, saying that this is why she put on a mask, suppressed her emotions, and turned into someone who was not really her. Ochako pulls Toga with her wire, and Jiro arrives on the scene, going to hold a falling Tsuyu, but Kamui warns her that that's not the real one because he's already holding Tsuyu. That's when the falling Tsuyu face distorts, getting a huge mouth and eyes. Tsuyu's clone attacks Jiro, but Kamui destroys it. Toga starts making more clones of Tsuyu and Jiro, and Kamui says that the clones are drinking the blood that's dropping through the battlefield. Jiro's surprised to see herself cloned and puts her hand on her injured ear. Tsuyu finds herself surrounded by the clones and starts talking to Toga, saying that she thought that a hero's duty was to follow the rules and that anything that opposed that was villainous. But now her friend is more focused on reaching Toga than following any of those rules. She thinks that this path that of understanding is much harder than just arresting or killing everyone. So even though Ochako is a bit too late, Tsuyu asks Toga to at least listen to what she has to say. But the next page, we see Ochako getting stabbed in the stomach. Ochako coughs blood, and Toga says that they are fundamentally different. She can't feel the same joy as everyone else, and she's tired of people judging her life. The last panel of the chapter is a flashback of Twice asking Toga if she won't pick a villain name for herself. End of chapter. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit more, but we do have Horikoshi's comment in this week's jump. Fluids keep coming from my ears, but now it finally stopped. My ears were at the brink of death. That was close. Horikoshi, you are literally not proving the case that you really need to take a break. Which, unfortunately, we are going to be on a 2-week break, but that hopefully means that Horikoshi will be able to hopefully heal. But yeah, going into the previous text spoilers, there was a lot of interesting stuff that is going to be going down in this chapter. For instance, Jiro is becoming a more prominent part of this battle, which kind of ties into what people may have thought is that Jiro's going to get her one moment and then just disappear. No, she's being more prominent, which makes sense with her interaction with Tokoyami, as well as the fact that she had her own personal arc. So it makes sense that she will still be getting a lot more focus here. But it seems that we're also continuing on some development that we saw with Tsuyu very much early on in the series, but we're seeing that it's coming more into fruition now with our idea of what it means to actually be a hero, and whether or not following the rules makes you a hero and disobeying the rules makes you a villain. So I'm glad that we seem to be getting a little bit more development for Tsuyu in this moment, but we are also seeming to get a lot of development for Toga, and potentially we're going to be getting even more development potentially for Uraraka Ochako. Because there's some stuff here that I really want to dive into a little bit more in the review proper, but all of this is just really building up the character of Toga and how this is going to lead to her eventually obtaining a villain name, which I'm wondering what that could potentially be, but also pretty much building up what's going to come, which is either going to be a confession from Uraraka, or at the very least her making the attempt or succeeding in saving Toga potentially. But yeah, that's all I really want to say when it comes to the spoilers for this week. What do you think of the spoilers? Do you think that this spoiler chapter is going to be amazing? The chapter itself is going to be amazing? Or do you think it's just going to be okay to mediocre or even bad? Leave your thoughts down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!